What if the perfect morning routine was never about productivity? What if it was about becoming aware before the world gets inside your head? The Greeks didn't wake up to optimize. They woke up to shape their character. Before hustle, there was arete, human excellence. Before performance, there was self-mastery. And that is what school skipped. Nobody teaches you how to meet your own mind before the noise begins. The real question is, who are you becoming right now? And are you truly aware of yourself? Because if you're not aware in the morning, the day will decide for you. By the end of this video, you'll know how Greek wisdom becomes a morning routine that makes you calmer, sharper, more self-aware. You'll see why the Stoics didn't chase intensity. They trained attention. You'll learn to build a morning around three things: silence, movement, conscious reflection. And I'll connect each to neuroscience. How your brain sets patterns in the first minutes after waking. How repetition stabilizes attention. How awareness changes how you respond to the day. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming a man who can see himself clearly. Because school taught many things, but rarely this: how to lead your own mind before the world leads it for you. Stay with me. The Greeks would call this the beginning of real education. Chapter 1. The morning you don't notice. Most men today wake up and reach for their phone before their mind is even fully online. Messages, headlines, notifications, pressure. Their first hour is not chosen. It is invaded. And that is the problem. Most men do not start the day. They are started by the day. The ancient Greeks would have called this a lack of inner order. A life ruled by impulses instead of reason. And neuroscience explains why this matters. The first minutes after waking are a sensitive period for stress regulation and attention setting. What enters first tends to shape the tone that follows. So when the morning begins with noise, the brain learns fragmentation. When it begins with silence, the brain learns presence. You do not need a more extreme routine. You need a cleaner beginning. Chapter 2. What the Greeks knew. The Greeks had a word for excellence: arete. It did not mean status. It did not mean looking impressive. It meant becoming the fullest version of yourself. That is the deeper purpose of a morning routine. Not to impress the internet, not to imitate a motivational clip, not to prove that you are disciplined, but to align your actions with your identity. The Stoics understood that character is built through repeated choices, especially small ones. Modern neuroscience says the same in different language. Repetition strengthens neural pathways and makes behavior more automatic over time. So every morning, you are not just doing a habit. You are rehearsing a self. One quiet morning does not transform your life, but one repeated quiet morning transforms what your brain expects from you. Chapter 3. The first silence. The Greeks respected silence before action. Not because they were passive, because they understood preparation. The first 10 to 20 minutes after waking should not belong to the world. They should belong to you. No phone, no messages, no scrolling, no input, just breath, water, stillness. Why does this work? Because the brain does not switch into deep executive control instantly. It needs a gentle ramp. If you flood it immediately, you force it into reaction before reflection. But if you give it silence, you create space for awareness. And this is where the channel's message becomes real. This is what school skipped. Not grades, not schedules, self-awareness. Nobody taught most men how to sit with their own mind before the world starts pulling at it. Your first silence is not empty. It is the moment you become available to yourself. Chapter 4. Movement as alignment. The Greeks did not separate body and mind. They saw them as partners. A clear mind in a sluggish body is unstable. A grounded body gives the mind a base. That is why your morning should include movement. Not punishment. Not a brutal workout. Just enough motion to awaken the system. A short walk, light stretching, a few deep breaths, a few controlled movements. The goal is not exhaustion. The goal is alignment. Neuroscience supports this direction. Gentle movement helps shift the nervous system out of sleep inertia and into alertness, while also supporting the brain states that make focus and learning easier. You are not trying to dominate the morning. You are trying to enter it with awareness. When the body wakes up with intention, the mind stops dragging behind it. Chapter 5. Self-awareness, not just functioning. Here is where most routines fail. They teach you how to function. They do not teach you how to notice yourself. But that difference matters. Functioning means getting through the day. Self-awareness means understanding what is happening inside you while the day happens. That is the deeper Greek lesson. The Stoics practice this through reflection, observation, and discipline of attention. And neuroscience shows that self-awareness is not just philosophical. It is a trainable mental capacity tied to reflection and emotional regulation. So ask yourself in the morning, how do I feel? What state am I in? What kind of energy am I bringing into this day? Those questions change the quality of your life. Because if you never observe yourself, you will keep living on autopilot. A man who knows his state can change his state. A man who ignores himself will keep repeating himself. Chapter 6. The practice that sticks. The best routine is not the most complicated one. It is the one you can repeat when life gets heavy. The Greeks understood measure, the right amount, the right rhythm, the right structure. So build your morning like this. First, silence. Second, movement. Third, one conscious reflection. For example, what do I need today? Or what kind of man do I choose to be this morning? That final question matters because it closes the loop between action and identity. And identity is what habits eventually become. This is how self-awareness turns into self-command. And this is why the routine is not just about productivity. It is about education. Not the kind school gave you, the kind life demands from you. A simple routine becomes powerful when it helps you recognize yourself before the day does. So, here is the truth the Greeks would have respected. The perfect morning routine is not about doing more. It is about becoming more aware, not louder, clearer, not faster, more intentional. If you want the ancient formula in one line, it is this: silence first, movement second, self-awareness third. That is how you stop living as a reaction. That is how you begin living as a choice. And that is what school skipped. Because the real education was never just about passing tests. It was about learning how to meet yourself honestly, before the world asks anything from you. So tomorrow morning, do not ask, how can I get more done? Ask, who am I when I wake up? Because that answer will shape everything that follows.